Hello, Bella Beauties. It's me, Bella Blaque. Welcome back to my channel, Bella Blaque TV, where we will be talking to a local entrepreneur. So stay tuned. We're sitting down with another local entrepreneur. If you could please state your name, your age, and what it is that you do. And what is the name of your business?
Hello, my name is Derek Mills. The name of my company is PowerGlide LLC. I'm 38 years old. I'm a local entrepreneur.
And what is it that you do in your entrepreneurship? What type of business is it?
I have a transportation company.
What started you, or what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
I would say what inspired me to become an entrepreneur was kind of having a little bit more freedom of my own life. A little bit more control over how I wanted to move, kind of how I wanted to operate, and just didn't want to get stuck in the everyday working cycle.
How long have you been an entrepreneur?
I've had my own company now for, I would say, going on 5 years. Initially, when I started, I was partners with another guy, and, it's kind of a learning curve. Sometimes, you gotta, take risks, take chances, but, sometimes you gotta pay for your lessons, and sometimes it costs. And so I would say 5 years, and, it's been okay for me so far.
So you've been an entrepreneur for 5 years. You started out with a business partner. So what would you say inspired you to pursue the line of work that you're in, the type of entrepreneurship venture that you're currently pursuing?
Okay, I would say the inspiration would have to be from my years in the oil and gas industry. I would say I've been in the oil and gas industry for the better portion of 12 years, and just the oil and gas journey by itself, I learned to build quite a few connections with the right people, and that kind of helped me kind of start in the direction of my transportation company.
Great. So you would say you did a little networking when you were in the gas and oil industry. So did you just automatically go to those individuals, or did you see those guys have special qualities or experience that, you took an interest in? And did you pitch the idea to them, or did they come to you with an idea regarding getting into a business together?
Yes. Most definitely networking. Networking has been the primary piece to the whole business. I would say it was more of along the lines of me working throughout the years, just establishing myself as being a constant in the oil and gas industry, and just me being a steady, reliable person / hand. And that kind of helped, build a rapport with the people along the way. So I would say a lot of it was more, people pay attention when you're not paying attention. So, the little things that I did along the way, people paid attention to. So when I did decide to step out on my own, it was like I had more people rooting for me than I knew.
Okay, so I know you said you started out with a couple of guys. Did you start out with some guys that you met in the oil field, or did the oil field just prepare you for the type of work that you're in?
Okay. I would say the oil field more so just prepared me for the constant need of being prepared in this business. But initially with the guys as well, I didn't start off with any guys in the oil and gas industry because, most of those guys were kind of stuck in their roots and stuck in their ways. So, I kind of started off with guys that was willing to just kind of get a break in the industry. And like I say, that was a learning curve by itself. But like I say, when you do step out, you also have to be willing to go through the mud as well. Like I say, there's not always going to be sunny days in this business. So I always tell these guys, like, hey, if you're willing to invest in yourself, that's the primary deal, man. Seeing it through. You have to see it all the way through. If you do that, and faith. Faith and seeing things through, man, it's really been the key pieces for me.
That's some great information. So what would you say, how long would you say, or an estimate on how long it took you to start seeing a return on your investment?
I would say it took the ROI on the return on my investment. I would say it probably took roughly, let's say 2 years. I mean, the first year, was kind of, a stumbling block for me. But it was one of those deals as well. I was constant, so I had to learn, the hard way with the guys, say everybody, a lot of people say they want to work, but like I say, that's just them talking. But I would say the better portion of a year and a half, maybe 2 years before I started seeing a return on my investment. But I would also say I was a constant in pursuing the work as well.
What are some challenges or obstacles that you faced as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, I would say some of the biggest challenges that I faced has been the other entrepreneurs. This being in this transportation industry can be really tricky. You always want to see others succeed, but with that being said, a lot of these guys will, they're making it to where it's harder to see a profit because we're stepping on each other's toes. So there's a lane out here for everybody to make good money and be consistent with it. But it's just one of those deals to where if we all kind of mesh together, everybody can do well. But man, like I say, we're fighting each other at the moment. If we can ever get over that, man, it can be a great thing.
So with that, is it like some are trying to undercut or underbid the next person, and so the amount goes down and down and down to where it's making it hard to get a profit from it?
You just hit the nail on the head. That's one of the biggest problems that we're facing right now. A lot of guys are so busy trying to undercut. And I understand we all got to eat and we all got families to feed and we all got bills to pay. But a lot of these guys are undercutting the bid so much that it's hard to turn a profit on it. But one thing I would say that I learned to do was get out and network myself. So, I learned to cut out the middleman. So therefore, that's really what's been helping me kind of strive the way I've been moving in my business.
So like when you cut out the middleman, does that mean you cut out marketing and just hit the ground boots to the ground, getting out there advertising for yourself or trying to create opportunities for yourself? Is that cutting out the middleman? Or with you having a business, that you have someone driving for you, and so then you cut out that middleman by driving the load yourself? How did you particularly cut out the middleman?
Okay, what I'm saying when I cut out the middleman, what I did was a lot of the guys are like using I want to say, I can't think of the right name for the logistic style, like transportation, like companies like the dispatching services. Okay. What I did was I learned to market myself. Okay. And I also noticed that, a lot of the times, anybody can drive a truck. Anybody can, it's the relationships that you build with the people along the way it's been pivotal for me.
Okay, so making sure that you nurture those relationships that you've already created. They see that you're a hard worker. They know your work. And have you seen yourself getting referrals from being a great worker and building that rapport and those relationships with your customers?
That's exactly what's been happening. As of late, the name alone, like a lot of the times, it's kind of weird how it works. A lot of times, most places don't even know the name of my company. They know me as the person. Right. So a lot of times I'll go somewhere and they already know of me just off how consistent I've been.
Okay. So consistency is a big key.
Pivotal.
Okay. So what would you say has been your highest earning year, and how much did you earn that year, if you don't mind disclosing that information?
I would say maybe my highest earning year with one truck, networking on my own, I would say I made 260,000. But like I say, that number sounds decent and it's actually really good for one truck. But like I say, man, there's a lot of expenses that go in this game as well. So, I mean, when I talk to people about this business, and, I'm a firm believer in not just telling you something that sounds good. No, I want you to understand that this is a very expensive business as well. And with that being said, I mean, I've learned a lot along the way. And I mean, hell, I'm borderline a mechanic at this point,
So you got to know all aspects of the trucking,
Exactly.
because like having that is very expensive. Of course, there are great returns, but there's also money that goes into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's very, very understandable. What year would you say that happened? Was that in your third year? So I know you said you've been doing it for 5 years. Would you say that was year 2, year 3? What year was that?
I would say I started hitting my stride in about year 3.
Year 3.
Yeah, about year 3. Like I say, the first year was pretty, I stumbled out the blocks. But like I say, I was learning along the way. But with that being said, I do have to mention, you have to have a cushion starting any business. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys, and I also talk with a lot of guys along the way that they jump off the porch, and when they do it, they don't have that cushion. And it tends to put them in a bind with their home, with your finances at home. So, I mean, you have to have a cushion. But like I say, with that being said, this also comes from those years of me being in the oil and gas industry.
Create your cushion from okay.
I created a cushion that way. And I mean, I just don't like spending a lot of money. I try to save as much as I can as quick as I can.
Right. Good deal. Yeah, I definitely understand you on that, making sure you create a cushion because, those obstacles can come from nowhere.
Quickly.
And if you don't have anything to fall back on, hey, that's saying you up ish creek. So moving on to the next question. Do you plan to expand your business and or explore other entrepreneur opportunities?
That's kind of like a toss-up at the moment with me. I would like to expand the business, but honestly, the biggest problem that I'm running into at the moment is the inconsistency with finding help as of labor. I mean, a lot of guys are wanting the world, and don't get me wrong, man, you always try to make as much as you can as quick as you can. And I'm a firm believer in that. But, a lot of people are just not, how can I say this? You have to be more realistic over what you can see as a return. A lot of guys will sit back and see you being an owner operator and think they can jump in and make exactly what it is. They can make so much of it, but not looking at the fact that, hey, you still have to pour into the company. So, I mean, the biggest problem I've been running into has been just the consistency in finding help.
Right. So would you say that the problem may be from individuals pretty much having these unrealistic expectations of just trying to get rich fast or really not understanding what all it entails and trying to go into business for themselves, and that's the reason why it's harder to try to find people to come and do the labor for you? Or is it just a lack of people out there qualified to do the work?
I think I wouldn't necessarily say the lack of qualification, because anybody that's willing to learn and want to learn, I mean, the door is always open for that. I would more so say it's just the guys they're wanting the pay. I mean, they're not taking into consideration, hey, fuel, the price of fuel, it's constantly fluctuating. So, I mean, when you bid these jobs, you may have to flex a little bit to work with the customers, but you need the consistency from the customers. So it's one of those deals you try to explain to the guys that, hey, it's not going to always be pretty all the time, but it can be constant. some guys can understand that, but a lot of them can't.
Right, and they probably don't take into consideration that the cost of repairs is crazy. Yeah, and then insurance alone is crazy, so yeah, they don't take all of those things into consideration. So I can definitely understand that. Okay, so I know that we cover the possibilities of expanding the entrepreneur venture that you already have going, but have you thought about exploring other entrepreneur opportunities?
That I have. I would say more so just real estate. I honestly think if the bigger turnaround that I've seen has been in real estate. I mean, the money's been consistent in the transportation business, but real estate has been where the splash of money kind of comes in at.
Most definitely. I do definitely agree with you on real estate. There are so many different avenues that you can explore when it comes to real estate. Whether that is wholesaling, whether that is selling or purchasing home for resale, or doing auctions, or property management, looking into like providing rental properties, or something that's really popular now too is assisted living homes, group homes, and things like that, where it's like crazy money that you can just get from having real estate and getting in the real estate market. So I definitely agree with you on that. Would you suggest other inspiring entrepreneurs invest and do business with a business partner, or pursue entrepreneurship individually? I know you spoke on it a little early on in the interview, but just addressing that particular question, in its entirety, if you can just elaborate on what you think is the best avenue.
I would say anytime you're doing business with anyone else, man, it can get real tricky. I would more so say if you have the resources and the revenue to kind of step out on your own, I mean, there's always, you're seeing more of the profits on the back end. But anytime you're doing business with anyone else, I mean, I would make sure you get everything in writing legally. I mean, the times have changed. I mean, you can't do the handshake deals anymore.
Right. And the word of mouth now, yeah. Definitely agree that.
Yeah, that's initially, like I said, when I started off with a business partner, and I mean, we had the same vision initially, but like I say, it didn't take long for him to want to move in a direction, me going another. It was one of those deals where it was more so, I was more of, hey, let's get our money, and but he right now and kind of make our bigger moves on the back end. But he wanted to kind of just jump all the way in initially, and like I say, it was just, man, the money dried up quick doing it. So it didn't take me long to see, hey, going down that road, the next time, let me do it on my own.
Right, because then, you still, like you said, you start out with the same vision, but how to pursue that vision, and taking both partners' thoughts and processes into consideration is a whole nother beast in its own. So I definitely understand that. What are some suggestions that you'd recommend on how someone could or should obtain funding or capital to start a business?
I really couldn't give you a good answer on that one. Like I say, initially when I started, I come from the oil and gas industry. So I mean, my funding I was kind of saving for years and kind of moving a little different. I have seen people take business loans, but like I say, that kind of changes with the times. I have had a buddy of mine, get a business loan, and that interest rate that put him out of business, trying to keep up making the payment. So, I mean, I couldn't give you a good answer on that one, but what I will say is whatever move you do want to make, take your time.
Okay, good deal. And I know that you mentioned earlier on that just creating that cushion. So I guess that's where that cushion will come into play, because it will help you get started in your business as well as serve as help to you when you do encounter those challenging times.
Right.
Definitely understand that. Okay, yeah, this has been some great information. So, in wrapping it up, what advice would you give someone that's looking to become an entrepreneur or start a business?
I would say the best piece of advice I would give is go for it. Go for it. I mean, take a step of faith. I mean, sometimes you never know if you don't try.
Right.
But I always try to make a calculated risk. Like I said, if you got bills, responsibilities, kids, life is going to keep lifing. Right. So, try to take a calculated risk, but go for it. I mean, sometimes it can be worth it, but one thing you can say, you did try.
Right, exactly. All right, so thank you for this great information on entrepreneurship in your business. Did you want to shout out any websites, any phone numbers, or anything to draw business to your site or to your business?
Most definitely. Anytime I can get a drop, I'm going to get it.
And there you go, drop it.
So, like I say, anytime, any logistic needs you have, hey, please don't hesitate to give us a call. PowerGlide LLC. You need to reach us. We can be reached at 903-424-2486. And again, ask for Derek Mills. Like I say, PowerGlide LLC at Outlook.com as well. Like I say, any logistic needs you need covered, hey, we got you.
Okay, but all logistics needs. Okay, sounds great. Well, again, thank you, Mr. Mills, for sitting down and allowing me the opportunity to interview you today and get some insight into entrepreneurship and those ventures out there. Thank you for being a part of Bella Blaque TV.
Yeah.